Hello everybody, Razorblade Bango here. Today I want to talk about Yooka-Laylee, which, if you guys know, is one of my most anticipated games of this year. It's a game that I've been eagerly awaiting for the past maybe 2 years now. It's been a long time. I feel like it's been a while since we got that initial Kickstarter for it, but it's almost here. It's less than 2 weeks away, which is really exciting in that respect. I'm very much looking forward to playing it on the PC. But today, I want to talk about not only just the recent things that have come to light regarding it, but some things that Playtonic and Team 17 themselves have thrown themselves into. So let's start with the recent news today. So I have heard from 3 different sources about problems regarding Yooka-Laylee's quality assurance on the consoles, and even a little bit on PC. I've heard from 3 different sources. One, I heard recently on Jim Sterling's Podquisition that both he and reviewer Laura K. Buzz have had problems. They've heavily hinted at there being major issues with Yooka-Laylee's frame rate, possibly the game crashing, maybe resolution, stuff like that. They didn't go into specifics, but it was enough to really confirm what I had heard earlier, which it leads me to my second source, which is someone out there who obviously I cannot name, who has a review copy of the game. And they recently confided in me that, yes, their review copy of the game for consoles is very poorly optimized. And the game can barely keep at 30 frames per second on both the PS4 and the Xbox One, from what I've heard. And a third source as well comes from Games Explained, where they did one of their usual 50 questions that we need to have answered about Yooka-Laylee. And while they did say Yooka-Laylee was really good and they're really enjoying it, they did bring up something that I had, and this, keep in mind, this is all things that I've heard this morning. This is all new news to me, where they've talked about how rough it is on the consoles, how it can barely keep up. So pretty much everything I'd heard from my other two, from my personal source and from a source that I fully, I rely on, like Jim Sterling, who I have no reason not to trust. But yeah, that is concerning. And if I had heard maybe someone in the comments say this, I'd be a little bit more skeptical. But hearing 3 different sources say the same thing, I mean, one a little bit more extreme with Jim Sterling and Laura K. Buzz, this is concerning to me. Now, I am going to be getting the PC version, which is, to my knowledge, the only version that Playtonic personally worked on themselves. The PS4 and Xbox One versions of the game, and if you guys forgot this, I had actually forgotten about this until recently, they are not working on it. It is Team 17, who is the publisher, that is working on Yooka-Laylee for PS4 and Xbox One, possibly even the Switch version. So, and I had heard, regarding the Switch version, I had heard that Yooka-Laylee, that Playtonic was only going to work on the Wii U version and the PC version. Now, it's not confirmed who is working on the Switch version. It could very well be Playtonic themselves that are working on it, which in that case gives me a little bit more hope that it will turn out better than the PS4 and Xbox One versions, and it will maybe be good, maybe be up there with the Switch in terms of with the PC with as far as consistency goes. And then you've also got Team 17 could possibly be working on it, which would really concern me with everything that I've heard about the PS4 and Xbox One versions of this game. So that's a little PSA for you guys. That's something to keep in mind out there. If you want to pre-order Yooka-Laylee, which full disclosure, I did. I pre-ordered the PC version because I wanted to try out the toy box, and I wanted the digital copy. I've said this before on the channel, but for consistency's sake, full disclosure, I have pre-ordered the game on the PC, and I definitely hear that's like the best version of the game, hands down. It's able to run at relatively consistent 60 frames, which is good. It looks better, obviously, and it just a much better version of the game than the other two. Like, puts the other two to shame, which to me is not acceptable. And I'm not someone, as much as I'm looking forward to Yooka-Laylee, and it's even if the PC version turns out to be wonderful, even better than I've heard it actually is, I am still going to be very disappointed if the console versions of this game are not up to snuff with what they could be. And I feel like they should even be 60 frames on those, because they are working with Unity, which is not a difficult engine to really work with in terms of this. And the fact that they're only going to be 30 on the PS4 and Xbox One, it's like, really? I know PS4 and Xbox One have a hard time managing some of the stuff out there, but come on, if you can get fucking Titanfall 2 and Metal Gear Solid 5, two of the best looking games of this generation, running at 60 frames on those consoles, come on, you can get Yooka-Laylee running 60 frames on those consoles. There is no excuse for that. There really is not at this point. Also, I'm not one of those people that's gonna hype up the game, be like, oh, this game is, it's so great, it's a return to nostalgia and all that. Like, look, if the game sucks on another console, I am gonna talk about it. I don't care how good it is on the PC. I am gonna talk about it because I know I'm not oblivious to the fact that not everyone out there can't afford a really good PC like me. They can't. They can only really afford a PS4 or an Xbox One, or that's what they prefer. They prefer console gaming to PC gaming, which then I have no problem with. But the fact that in this day, my goddamn microphone cut out. So, sorry. So in this day and age, with Yooka-Laylee not being able to run at 60 frames on the PS4 and Xbox One, I think is just silly. I think that's just, like, come on, guys. Really? You can do that. Come on. Like, stop being lazy. The other thing I wanted to talk about in regards to Yooka-Laylee is, of course, the whole JonTron thing. And I've already talked about this on one of the, on a previous Final Fantasy VIII stream session. Because, I believe it was Sonic. If you're listening to this, hi. One of my usual viewers asked me what I think of Yooka-Laylee's, the whole situation with that, and whether I was going to boycott it. And obviously, no, I'm not going to. However, I'm not going to go into the whole JonTron thing. I'm not going to go over whether or not it was okay for them to remove JonTron's voice from the game, because I think my answer is my opinion on that is very obvious to anybody. I want to talk about the lack of refunds that Playtonic are willing to give out. Now, I understand that Playtonic have no legal obligation to do this. Right? I understand that. But that, I think, is a problem. And it goes back, like way back. I've had this issue with games for a long time. Ever since I was a kid, I've hated the whole once you open it up, you can't return it policy. And it's like, and that leads to all sorts of problems. Like, what if the game is defective? What if you just simply don't like the game? It's a product. If you don't like a product, you should be able to return it, okay? That should be like a common thing. No questions asked, money back guarantee kind of thing. For video games, that should be the case. It should have been the case in the very beginning. Even when I was a kid, I remember buying this really crappy Yu-Gi-Oh game for the Game Boy, And I remember disliking it, and I immediately walked back to Toys R Us and was like, look, I don't want this anymore. Can I have my money back? And they're like, no, sorry, because you opened it, you can't return it. And I think that is bullshit. And I think Playtonic being so stingy, being so, backwards thinking about them not being able to return, if you don't like that JonTron was removed from Yooka-Laylee, if you personally have a problem with that, fine. I feel like you should be able to get your money back. If you want to boycott Yooka-Laylee, you should get your money back. I'm not talking about whether I think JonTron or not. That's a whole other issue that I don't want to get into today. Now, I've already talked about it on another video. But yes, you should have the right to a refund. And the fact that Playtonic, in their brilliant wisdom, have decided to start censoring boards on the Steam pages and removing comments and kicking people out of the forums because they're demanding refunds, that is unacceptable. I think that is going to hurt this game way more than the fucking frame rate issues ever will. Because that is a huge PR problem. Look, Playtonic. If you want people to buy your game, if you want goodwill towards your game, don't kick people out of your forums for wanting refunds, okay? Give them their fucking refund and send them on their way. Goodbye. They have their money back. And now that you're censoring people, you're kicking them off the forum, you're denying refunds, that's only going to make it worse. That's going to amplify the entire problem. That's going to make people defend JonTron more. And it's this should be something so simple. This should be a simple open and shut case of, hey, you don't want our game anymore. Fine. Here's your money back. Even the fucking Kickstarter people, you should give them their money back. If they don't want to support the game anymore, fine, give them their money back. You've already made the fucking game. It's going to be out in 2 weeks. I don't see the harm in refunding people that don't want the game anymore. I don't get it. I don't get it, Playtonic. Why don't you pull your head out of your fucking ass and just give people the refunds? If a game for me wasn't working properly and I wanted to refund it, I should get a refund. This goes back to digital gaming. This goes back to GameStop's bullshit policy of refunds where you can't return it if you've opened it. I hate that policy. I hate that. I've hated it for years. And to see it even worse now, even with digital distribution, which digital distribution should be so simple to get refunds for. Should be so easy to implement new policies. And even though I think Steam is probably okay at it because you can return a game within 2 hours or 14 days or however long you've had it in your library, it's almost it should be a problem no matter what. It shouldn't be a problem anyway. You should be able to return a game 3 years down the road if you've had it in your library for so long, you finally play it, you hate it, you still should have a refund. You still should be eligible, guys. Am I talking crazy here? I'm sick to death. I am sick to fucking death of this whole no refund policy shit in the gaming industry. And this whole Yooka-Laylee thing, with how fucked up Team 17 and Playtonic have been doing it recently. Guys, look at the PR hit you've taken recently. Stop putting on tunnel goggles and just focusing on the praise and the acclaim that you're going to get. Look at the people around you that want a refund because you removed JonTron from the fucking game. Is that wrong? Is that so wrong to want a refund for something you don't want anymore? I don't care if it's been opened. I don't care if I've had it with me for so many months and I've only just now gotten around to playing it. This should not be an issue these days. With digital distribution, fine, have a refund. You just won't be able to play the game anymore. Great! Awesome. Same with PlayStation Store. Same with Xbox. They have the worst non-refund policies I have ever seen. It's like if you pre-order a game and then you find out it was shit, you can't get your money back. There's no money back guarantee for that. And I think that needs to change. They need refund policies. So anyway, that's my overall opinion on the whole Yooka-Laylee thing, that they need to stop being stupid, stop thinking it's 1999 or 1998, whenever how old I was when I got that game, and get their fucking priorities in check with maintaining PR. Because if these reports that I've heard personally and off the record about this frame rate issue you're gonna have for the consoles, oh boy, you better be prepared for the big PR hit you're gonna get, guys. And denying refunds for the whole JonTron thing, that's not gonna help you. That's gonna make it a whole lot worse, because now there are people actively looking to damage you guys, to shit all over your game, to shit all over you as a company, because that's how the internet works. That's how the internet has conditioned people to behave. You better learn to roll with the fucking punch, because there's a big, heavy fucking fist coming your way, guys, if what I've heard is true about the console versions of Yooka-Laylee. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. Have a good one, everyone. Take care.